Hey guys, it's Corey here, plus back to add more to your day. Now this video was supposed to be yesterday, so I could just chill for today while reacting to the Alabama, Michigan, and Texas, Washington games. But I kind of forgot about that. I forgot yesterday, so I'm going to do it today before the games start. First game is Alabama, Michigan at 5 o'clock, so I definitely have time. Alabama Crimson Tide earned their spot despite losing to Texas by defeating Georgia in the SEC Championship by 3. I believe the score was 24-27, while Michigan went undefeated, including beating teams like Penn State. What, did they beat Penn State? I'm pretty sure they beat Penn State, right? Yeah. Penn State, Ohio State, and Iowa in their final 3 games. Okay, well, Maryland was in between that, but that doesn't really matter. Both teams had amazing seasons. Both teams are kind of used to making the playoffs at this point. Michigan's made 3 times in a row. But their earlier 2 times lost both. First to Georgia, then to TCU. While Alabama missed the playoffs last year. Year before that, lost to Georgia. So both teams have kind of had... both teams have made it to the playoffs in the last 2 years, but haven't came away with victories in the national championships. Both of these teams looking to make it to the national championship for the first time in a while. Well, for Alabama, it's in a while because, well, usually they make it every other year. Well, they did make it. However, Alabama's really good, okay? Yeah, they make it a lot. But for Michigan, it's not that way. They haven't won a national championship in a while. And they're going against the best team since I was born in Alabama. Now, this is a prediction video. And I still haven't even really thought of who I think is going to win this game yet. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, the team I want to win the national championship is Washington. But do I think they're going to win the national championship? It's hard to say. For now, we're going to focus on the Alabama game, then move on to that one. QBs, Jalen Milroe has been an interesting quarterback. Had a really slow start, but in the end really proved to be really a great quarterback for Alabama. While Jason McCarthy, well, while not being as a really pass-heavy team, when he threw the ball, it was usually a completion. Blake Corum's really good. 24 touchdowns. Is that a glitch? Or is he just like 24 touchdowns? Are you serious? That's really good. Stop recording. And they also have Wilson. What's his first name? I actually don't really remember. Roman Wilson. And Jermaine Burton, the former Georgia Bulldog for Alabama. Now, as you can see, both teams have had some pretty convincing victories and some pretty close victories in their last 5 games. Michigan's only favored by 2. They're expecting it to be a very close game in the Rose Bowl. It's really hard to choose who I think is going to win this game. Michigan was caught cheating, and since then has had less blowout victories. Alabama's almost lost to Auburn and Georgia for their last 2 games. Neither team has been perfect, but both teams have been great. My final prediction is going to have to be Alabama for a few factors. Number 1, Nick Saban has been here before. He's been here 15 billion times. Wow, sure, Mr. Harbaugh missed a few games. I feel like that's just a chemistry issue. When you miss some of the last games of the season and boom, you're just back as the head coach, I feel like that could cause some problems for Michigan. I feel like it's a lot of pressure for them. I think Alabama's going to be more calm and collected because, as I said, Saban's been here before, while Michigan has lost. Well, Michigan's been here before too, but they've lost those games. Michigan's lost 2 playoff games in a row. I know it'll be fun for a revenge tour for Michigan, especially being Alabama, but I just can't pick them against just the best coach of all time and one of the best college football teams of all time. I'm taking Alabama. My final score prediction, I'll say Alabama 26, Michigan 24. And the over-under is like 48 points, I think. 45, so actually I would take the over. But we'll see. By the way, before we get into the final game, LSU struggling against Washington right now. Oregon's blowing out Liberty like we all expected, and Tennessee is beating Iowa. Next up, we've got Texas and Washington. Now, this one's a completely different matchup. Instead of 2 teams that are used to making the playoffs, it's 2 teams who haven't really made the playoffs recently. Texas beat Alabama early in the season, lost to Oklahoma, but ended their season very strong with games against Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, Iowa State, and actually a kind of close win against TCU. And a thriller against Kansas State as well. Texas hasn't been perfect, but they've definitely been one of the most exciting teams to watch this season. The early win against Alabama has fueled this season, and their kind of unlucky loss against Oklahoma. They're definitely the third favorite to win this. I'm pretty sure the favorite is going to be whoever wins between Alabama and Michigan, not whoever wins between Texas and Washington. I really like Texas. They also had the former Georgia Bulldog, A.D. Mitchell, as well as, what's his name? Quinn Ewers. Like, it's a really strong offense, and then Brooks as well, Xavier Worthy. While Washington had the Heisman finalist Michael Penix and Roman Dunze, which is a really, really good receiver. Both teams are going to be really high passing offenses. As you expected, the over-under is over 60, with Texas is favored by 4. What do I think about these teams? Well, I really like Texas and how their team works, where they can run the ball or pass the ball. It's hard to see that nowadays, but more recently with the Georgia Championship last year, they were a great running team and passing team. It's becoming more common that you can't just have an air raid offense. That was like kind of common from like, I don't know, last few years, and then Georgia kind of changed that with their national championship. And now we have these two teams, which are also kind of air raid offenses with decent run games. Washington, in their last few games, have defeated Washington State just barely, defeated Oregon, who's a top 5 team at the time, just barely, and then beat Oregon State, who's a top 15 team, just barely, and then beat Washington, who's a top 20 team, just barely. Like, a lot of close victories recently, but I think their strongest point of respect is beating Oregon twice. It's hard to be a team twice in one season, but Washington managed to do it. Once again, I'm kind of conflicted on who I think is going to win this game. I want Washington to win, but I think I'm taking Texas. No, I'm changing it up. I want Washington to win, and Washington is going to win, and then they're going to beat Alabama. That's a little bit of a crazy take, isn't it? I don't even know if I think Washington beats Texas or getting blown out by Alabama, but that doesn't matter. What matters is this game, because I'm not actually going to officially predict those games yet. I'm taking Washington 38-31. And those are my final predictions. Hope you guys enjoyed. Who you guys think is going to win? Who's going to win the national championship? If I can get Alabama and Washington right, I can finally get my predicting stuff back on track. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe to my other channel, Goldie Jr. Follow me on Instagram and X, both are Goldie Jr. as well. See you guys later. Adios.